Jack Miller never saw it coming. A man who spent his life among wrenches, grease, and half-built engines. Jack was the heartbeat of a small-town garage, tucked behind a row of weather-beaten shops in Willow Creek. He had built his reputation not on wealth or fame, but on kindness, honesty, and a genuine love for machines and people. If something was broken, Jack fixed it. Not just cars, he fixed hope, too, sometimes without even realizing it. That's what happened the day Emily Harris rolled into his garage. Emily was only 7, bright-eyed with a smile so big it seemed too heavy for her small face. But from the waist down, she had no movement. A tragic accident when she was a toddler had left her paralyzed. Since then, her world had been one of wheelchairs, ramps, and carefully modified spaces. Dreams of freedom, of running, biking, or driving, had long been boxed away, labeled impossible by doctors and reality alike. Jack had seen Emily before. She and her mother, Lucy, often passed by his garage, and Emily would press her nose to the glass, fascinated by the smell of oil and the low rumble of engines. Jack had waved. Sometimes he showed her how things worked when she was brave enough to will herself inside. But one chilly afternoon, something shifted as Jack tightened the last bolt on a 1969 Mustang restoration project. He noticed Emily studying him with unusual intensity. She wasn't just watching. She was yearning. Jack leaned back on his stool, wiped his hands, and called out casually, "You ever wonder what it feels like to drive?" Emily's eyes lit up. "All the time," she said, her voice full of longing. That single moment planted a seed Jack couldn't ignore. Long after Emily left, he stayed in the garage, turning the idea over in his mind like a worn coin. Why couldn't she drive something? Why did the world get to decide what was possible for her? By midnight, Jack had a plan. He was going to build Emily her own car, not a toy, not a gimmick. A real, functioning, customized mini-car that Emily could operate independently. A vehicle that would give her a taste of the freedom every child should have. Jack got to work the next morning. He raided his scrap piles, salvaging axles, batteries, and steering components. The design had to be perfect, low enough for Emily to transfer into, wide enough to accommodate her wheelchair-bound strength, intuitive enough for a child to control. He sketched diagrams, modified old go-kart frames, even taught himself a few welding techniques he'd never bothered mastering before. Word spread fast in town. Folks dropped by to lend a hand or offer old parts. Someone donated a paint job. A retired upholsterer offered to sew a leather seat. Emily came every afternoon after school, watching in awe as her dream took shape. Every wire Jack soldered, every screw he turned, he did with her laughter echoing in his ears. 6 weeks later, the car was ready. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't perfect, but it was beautiful in a way no showroom model ever could be. Painted cherry red with white racing stripes, the little car looked like freedom itself. Jack held his breath as Emily climbed in for the first time. Her hands trembled slightly as she gripped the custom steering mechanism. Jack gave her a reassuring nod. "Go ahead, kiddo." The car roared softly to life. Emily's face exploded into a grin so radiant it could have powered the town's street lamps. With cautious joy, she steered the car forward, rolling out of the garage into the spring sunlight. Her laughter, pure and uninhibited, filled the air. People came out of shops. Drivers pulled over. Strangers clapped. There wasn't a dry eye in sight. Jack thought that would be the end of it. A good deed, a warm memory. He couldn't have been more wrong. 3 days later, as he was rotating tires on a customer's SUV, a sleek black limousine rolled to a stop outside his garage. Jack wiped his hands nervously on a rag. He wasn't used to visitors who arrived in $100,000 vehicles. The rear door opened, and out stepped a tall, sharp-suited man whose very presence seemed to soak up all the space around him. His hair was silver, his shoes polished to a mirror shine. Jack set down his wrench, heart pounding. "I'm looking for Jack Miller," the man said. "That's me," Jack answered, wiping his hands again. The man extended a business card. "Robert Walker." CEO of Walker Motors, one of the most prestigious and innovative car manufacturers in the country. I heard about what you built, Robert said, and I want to talk. Over a cup of strong black coffee inside the cluttered garage, Robert explained. Someone had recorded Emily's first drive. The video had gone viral overnight, capturing millions of hearts. It wasn't just touching, it was revolutionary. You didn't just build a car, Robert said. You built a movement. He offered Jack a job right there. Not just any job. A lead designer position at Walker Motors, complete creative freedom, and the resources to build adaptive vehicles that could change millions of lives. Jack reeled. It was every dream he'd never dared voice out loud. Still, something gnawed at him. Would joining a corporate giant mean sacrificing the personal touch that made his work special? Would Emily's dream be swallowed whole by a company that saw dollar signs instead of dignity? Robert seemed to sense his hesitation. At Walker Motors, we believe in changing lives, he said smoothly. You're the missing piece. Against every instinct screaming caution, Jack agreed. Within a week, he was flown out to Walker's corporate headquarters in Chicago. He was assigned a luxurious hotel suite, an executive assistant, and a team of engineers ready to bring his ideas to life. But then came the call. Emily, her voice trembling, told Jack that someone from Walker Motors had visited her home. They wanted to buy the car Jack built for her. They offered money, a lot of it, enough to tempt any struggling family. Emily refused. It was her car, her symbol of freedom. Jack's blood ran cold. He realized the truth. Robert Walker hadn't come to him out of pure altruism. He had seen Emily's car not as a miracle, but as a commodity. Fueled by fury, Jack stormed into Walker's glass-walled office the next morning. You went to Emily's house, Jack said, voice low but dangerous. You tried to buy her car. Robert didn't flinch. It's a business opportunity. Nothing more. You don't get it. Jack snapped. That car isn't just metal and wheels. It's her life. Her dream. This is business, Robert said, leaning back in his chair. You want to change the world? Fine. But it costs money. Money we can make by leveraging stories like Emily's. Jack stared at him, disgust churning in his gut that he had a choice. Sell his soul for success or walk away and fight. Jack chose to fight. That he resigned on the spot, slamming his employee badge on Robert's desk. I'm not for sale, he said. And neither is Emily. Word spread fast. Jack went public, telling the real story. The video of Emily's ride, coupled with Jack's testimony, sparked a nationwide movement. Donations poured in. Jack started his own company, Freedom Wheels, dedicated to building custom adaptive vehicles for disabled kids, free of charge. Walker Motors faced a massive public backlash. Robert Walker was forced to step down amid scandal. And Jack? Jack became a national hero. But more important to him, he remained the same man who had looked into a little girl's eyes and promised her the impossible, and kept that promise. Years later, when Jack stood at the ribbon-cutting ceremony of the Freedom Wheels Foundation's new headquarters, a sprawling workshop filled with smiling kids, modified cars, and dreams on four wheels, Emily Harris was right there beside him. Older now, but still grinning like the day she first took the wheel, Jack knelt down beside her, gripping the oversized scissors in one hand. You ready? He asked. Emily laughed. Let's do it. Together, they cut the ribbon. And together, they drove the future forward. Not with greed, not with profit, but with heart. And it all started in a tiny garage, with a mechanic who refused to believe that anything, especially dreams, should be out of reach.